So guys, we are not even through the halfway point of the year, and I feel like I can concretely tell you that Mother Mary is probably going to be the weirdest movie we get all year. So Mother Mary, a brand new horror film, kind of more of a drama film, should have been called Mommy Mary. I mean, it has Anne Hathaway. We're going to get into that. The movie is directed by David Lowery and stars Anne Hathaway and Michaela Cole. The movie tells the story of a pop star who suffers an accident and she's planning her big comeback tour. Because of this, she hooks up with her previous fashion designer and they start planning her costume, her routine. And this movie is going to explore just about everything under the sun in the process of doing that. Let me start off by saying this is a bonkers film, okay? I can't even concretely tell you right now if I fully understand the movie. This is one of the weirdest movies I have talked about on this channel so far. So be warned, if you're somebody who loves a concrete narrative, you want all the answers, the breadcrumbs, A to Z, not the movie for you, because this is one of the most unconventional, weirdly cerebral movies I've seen in ages, which kind of frustrated me because there was so much to love about this film. There were parts of this movie I absolutely adored, but then there were parts of this, even as I'm describing it, I'm not even sure I fully understand now, okay? Some movies, they require more than one viewing. This could be one of those. Got trauma, artistic expression, artistic dependency, all of the stuff we're talking about under the vase of a grand performer, but it's bonkers. Again, I'm just going to let you guys know that. So do not be fooled. It's not a horror film. It's a melodrama film with horror elements. Just don't let the marketing fool you again into believing this is going to be some nightmarish event. It's not. So one of the things I really enjoyed about this film was how it was structured. It doesn't really feel like you're watching a movie, more so like a stage play, almost like a visual audiobook. Like a movie where you have two characters talking, exploring the dynamic between them, their past experiences, telling stories. You're kind of seeing things in the background of what they're saying, almost like the visuals and the storytelling is molding to what they're explaining, which is very cool. It's very creative. It makes it feel like the scenes are constantly adapting. I really like that as a storytelling mechanism, even though it can get dry at points, not gonna lie, we'll get into that in the negatives. But I like that this movie was an experience, and I say that all the time, especially having this channel now, as somebody who watches so many films. Whenever a movie stylistically just goes for it, whether it works or not, you get brownie points, because there's just not a lot of creativity in movies nowadays, and I like the ones that stand out, and this movie does. This is also a beautiful looking film, and by beautiful I mean it stars Anne Hathaway. We need to have a serious conversation about this woman though, guys. I mean, she's entering the LeBron era of actresses. She's been doing it for 2 or 3 decades. People think age is a factor. Nope, keeps defying the odds, hasn't fallen off yet. They're gonna hang her jersey in the rafters. It's insane. But she's great in this film, and she has to be, because this movie is largely on the shoulders of both her and Michaela Cole. It's basically a 2-person film, a little bit of a chamber piece. Again, it's reimagined because the background and the visuals are constantly molding into such cerebral things. It feels like you're constantly jumping between locations. But she's playing this pop star. She's emotionally distraught for a lot of the film. It's exploring fame and trauma and artistic dependency and artistic expression. And there's a lot of layers to this so-called famous person we're exploring here. Kind of oddly reminded me of being based off of Lady Gaga. I can't confirm that. That's the type of character she's playing. Very eccentric, very expressive. Her outfits, her mannerisms, her lyrics, they're very out there. And she's playing that with a mix of a character who's kind of broken at the point we meet her, and having to do both is a task, and I think she nails that. I also think her co-lead here, Michaela Cole, is very good. And again, this movie, to be honest, is like 80% dialogue. It's almost like you have two characters telling each other campfire stories, and then you just get visuals paired up with it. I also love the sound and the score of this film, okay? From the opening scene, I was dead set on loving this film. I thought it was gonna be one of my favorite movies of the year. I was like, yes, another movie tackling a concert within a film, a fake musician. I love that. I loved the songs here. I thought they were catchy. I thought the way they're portrayed in this concert-like environment was very atmospheric. The sound was ramped up in my theater. I dug all of that. The production value of this movie is insane. The colors, the shadows, the contrast. It's a gorgeous looking film once again. Anne Hathaway. The production value as a whole, especially towards the end when the movie kind of morphs into a more traditional horror film, more gothic elements, a lot of dark reds, a lot of dark blues. It's just beautiful, beautifully morbid, the entire movie. That's how I describe it. And I also like the way that gore is incorporated into this film, because once again, this is not really a horror film. It's a drama film with horror elements, but I think because of that, they're much more effective. And I think the gore you get in this film film is unsettling because it's kind of unexpected. You go large spurts of this film where it feels strictly like a drama. When you get the gore, when you get the horror elements, I do think they stand out because of that. And lastly, I just have to say, this is another one of these films, much like Smile 2, where I just wanted this actor or actress to exist in real life, because I think Mother Mary as a character is cool. It's badass. I like the brand. I like the costumes. I like the music. I mean, sure, the person's life might be a living hell, hence we're making a movie about it, but yeah, I like that character, so I like the entire backbone of this film. But getting into the things that frustrated me about this film, and there were quite a lot, honestly. This movie kind of reminded me of another A24 film called Under the Silver Lake. Brief summary. So in that film, it's about this guy trying to solve this case, and it's very weird. It's very cerebral. You have a lot of evidence to this case and details of the story that you probably won't even understand until you look up an explained video. That's how this movie feels. It feels like a lot of unconventional storytelling mechanisms where you don't fully understand why you're watching certain visuals, why certain characters are saying what they're saying, almost like it's intended to be watched numerous times, or like somebody who wrote the film doesn't feel like they need to tell you it. It's more of an experience to try to figure it out. Those movies are very hit or miss for me. Sometimes I just leave the theater going, all right, that's snobby as hell. I don't care. I'm not looking that up. Other times I feel compelled to do some digging, try to look into it. I'm somewhere in the middle on this one because there are elements, again, I couldn't concretely tell you for a fact with my life staked on it if I'm right about them. But with that being said, I was never bored during this film. It was painstakingly slow at a couple of points. That's a difference though. Bored and slow are different. I was compelled with the visuals here. I was compelled with how odd the movie was. I was compelled with some of the stories they're sharing, some of the creepy visuals. But at the same time, I was just sitting there like, this is bonkers. Like, I have no idea what's going on. And I just know for a fact that this movie is not going to work for a lot of people who show up expecting a pure horror film. I've been doing this for a long time now. I talk to people in the real world about this. A lot of them do not have artistic taste at all. They would have hated this film. So again, that's sort of a negative in and of itself if I feel like the movie is in a way unwatchable to a large population. It also took me about an hour or so into the film to even understand what the theme of the movie is. And I think that's kind of intended, but at the same time, that could lose a lot of viewers because it starts off so slow. Artistic, sure, I like that element, but so slow. I don't think you get any horror elements introduced until the final 45 minutes to start, and it's almost 2 hours. The first hour of this film plays out just having two characters talk, and they're reacclimating, they're talking about their past experiences. Somewhere between intriguing and a giant exposition dump, I'll let you decide. And it's not even broken up. It's almost like a oneer where you have these two characters just talking back and forth again. That's why I say it feels like a stage play more than a movie at a lot of points. So again, forewarning, this movie's probably going to be way too slow for a lot of different people who see it expecting any form of excitement up before the ending. Also, this could be a personal thing to me or my theater, but I also think making this movie so dialogue-centric and having one of the characters have an incredibly thick accent is a choice. Because when you have to spend so much time with two characters just bantering back and forth, and you have to really squint to make out what one of them is saying for a lot of the scenes, it's frustrating at points. There were numerous lines in this film I was like, well, I didn't quite catch that. And again, I suspect a lot of other people will feel the same way because they picked a character, even though it's well acted, Michaela Cole, to just have an incredibly thick accent. And then when you get to the end of the film, I'll say this. I don't think this ending is going to work for a lot of different people. It kind of worked for me because, as I said earlier, I described it as morbidly beautiful. That's kind of how I felt about the entire ending of this film. I thought the visuals were great. I love the score of this film. I cannot say that enough. I think this should be nominated probably at the end of the year for some of the best visuals, some of the best music. It just all pairs up so well with these vibrant reds and these violins. It was awesome. Like, I love the production of everything in the end of the film. Again, though, when you start digging about what's actually happening, it feels oddly shallow, like sort of predictable compared to the rest of the film, that also kind of confusing to the point you might go, okay, I feel like it means that, but everything else up until this point kind of made no sense, so I kind of feel like I can't be sure about that as well. And let me finalize with this, and this will probably be the kill shot to a lot of you guys who are already on the fence. This movie kind of reminded me of Hurry Up Tomorrow by The Weeknd that came out last year, and a lot of people despise that film. I didn't mind it because I thought it was so stylistic. I liked The Weeknd. I made my bias known. But that's kind of the type of film this felt like. It felt like an exploratory, experimental drama film, style over substance at a lot of points. But because of that, it's going to leave a lot of people very frustrated, and it's going to feel very shallow to other people. And I guarantee there's going to be reviews right now of 1 out of 10 worst movie I've ever seen. I'd all but promise it. So a tricky one to rate, guys. I think there's awesome stuff going on here with Mother Mary. I think Anne Hathaway is fantastic in this film. Gorgeous as always. I mean, she's rocking like an 8-pack of abs. At what point will she fall off? I don't think it's ever happening. Overly ambiguous. It was confusing at a lot of points. I would say overall, I had a good enough time with this one. I would never rewatch this on my life, though. This is a one-timer for me. It's in that category. I don't care enough to try to figure it out. I did my due diligence. So if you guys check out Mother Mary, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the film. Did you find it as weird and as bonkers as me? Or comment down below your favorite stylistic thriller. I'd probably go with Last Night in Soho. If you like this review, my name is Sean. Like, comment, subscribe, hype the video, join the channel down below, and I will see you in my next review. Peace.